If you're watching this, chances are you're going through a difficult time in your life. You may be struggling to come to terms with a loss, whether it's the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or even a significant life change like a job loss. You're not alone. Grief is a universal human experience, and it can be overwhelming and isolating. But you're taking the first step towards healing by seeking out support and guidance. You may be wondering, how do I know which stage of grief I'm in? Or, do these stages even apply to my situation? Maybe you're struggling to process your grief in a healthy way, and you're feeling stuck or unsure of how to move forward. Well, in this video, we'll be addressing these exact questions and more. We'll explore the 5 stages of grief, and at the end of the video, we'll provide practical tips and strategies for processing your grief in a healthy way so you can begin to heal and move forward. So, without taking further time, let's start with Stage 1, denial. Denial is often the first reaction when you learn of a loss. In this stage, you are trying to absorb and understand what has happened. It's a defense mechanism that helps you cope with the shock of the loss, and a temporary way to shield yourself from the pain and give yourself time to process what's happening. During this time, you might experience a numbness or a disbelief that the event has actually occurred. For instance, you might keep thinking, "This isn't real," or "There's been a mistake." Denial can manifest in different ways. You might avoid talking about the loss, avoid visiting the place that reminds you of your loss, or avoid looking at photos or mementos. You might even try to distract yourself with work, hobbies, or other activities to avoid thinking about the loss. Denial is not a permanent solution, but it can help you survive the initial impact of the loss. Stage 2, anger. As denial begins to wear off, the pain re-emerges, and it is often redirected and expressed as anger. This stage can be difficult as the anger can be intense and can feel misplaced or irrational. You might find yourself feeling anger towards inanimate objects, strangers, friends, or family. You might also direct your anger towards the person who left, feeling that they have abandoned you or caused you this pain. Anger serves as an anchor, giving you temporary structure to the nothingness of loss. It is something to hold on to. A connection made from the strength of anger feels better than nothing. Anger can also be directed inward, manifesting as self-blame or guilt for not being able to prevent the loss or for not being able to cope with it better. It's important to allow yourself to feel this anger, as it's a natural part of the healing process. Stage 3, bargaining. When the reality of the loss sets in, you might start to negotiate or bargain in an attempt to reverse or lessen the loss. This stage is characterized by if only or what if statements. You might find yourself obsessing over thoughts like, "If only they would come back," "I'll never take them for granted again," or "What if I had done something differently?" Bargaining often involves deals with yourself or with a higher power, promising to change your behavior or to be a better person if only the loss can be undone. You might even try to recreate the past by revisiting old memories or trying to relive moments you shared with the person or situation you've lost. It's an attempt to postpone the sadness and the reality of the loss by holding on to the belief that you could have done something to change the outcome. Stage 4, depression. Once you come to terms with the fact that bargaining won't change the reality of the loss, you may enter a stage of deep sadness or despair. This is the stage of depression where you begin to confront the full weight of your grief. You might lose interest in activities you once enjoyed, struggle with daily tasks, and withdraw from social connections. This depression is not a sign of mental illness. It's a natural and appropriate response to loss. It can be a difficult stage, as it can feel like a heavy weight is pressing down on you. It's important to allow yourself to feel this sadness without judgment. It's during this time that you come to understand the true extent of your loss, and the reality of living without your loved one sinks in. While this stage can be incredibly painful, it's also an essential part of the healing process. Although this depression is not a sign of mental illness, it's important to recognize when your grief may be escalating into a more serious issue. While it's a natural response to loss, there are some signs that indicate it may be time to seek professional help from a psychiatrist. To recognize these signs, we've included a video link for you in the description below. Stage 5. Acceptance. Finally, you reach the stage of acceptance. This doesn't mean you've forgotten your loss or no longer feel pain. It means accepting the reality that your loved one is gone and recognizing that this new reality is the permanent reality. In this stage, you begin to adjust to life without your loved one. You start to reorganize roles and responsibilities and establish new routines. Acceptance is not the same as happiness or closure, and it doesn't mean you no longer feel the pain of loss, but rather that you are no longer resisting the reality of the situation. You come to understand that life will never be the same, but you can find a way to live with it. This stage is about finding a way to re-engage with life, experiencing more good days than bad, and finding a new normal while still honoring your past. By the way, how many of you have reached the stage of acceptance? Share your grief journey in the comments section below. Sharing your stories can be a powerful way to help others heal. Now that you understand what these stages looks like, let's discuss some practical strategies to help you move through these stages. Dealing with denial. Denial can make it hard to accept the reality of your loss. To start moving through denial, try talking about your feelings with someone you trust. Saying things out loud can help make them feel more real. Writing in a journal about your experience can also help you process what's happening. You don't need to write neatly or coherently. Just let the words flow. Begin to engage with memories of your loved one or the situation you've lost, even if it's painful. This could mean looking at photos or visiting places that were significant. Gradually facing these memories can help you start to accept the reality of your loss. Handling anger. Anger is a natural response to loss, but it can be overwhelming. Physical activity can be a great outlet. Try running, punching a bag, or going for a brisk walk. It can also help to talk about your anger with someone who will listen without judgment. You might even write a letter to the person you've lost, or to anyone you feel anger towards, and then tear it up as a symbolic act of release. Understanding your anger is also crucial. Think about why you feel angry and what's behind those feelings. Is it fear, sadness, guilt? Sometimes understanding the root of your anger can help you address it more directly. If your anger feels too intense, consider seeing a therapist for support. Tackling bargaining. Bargaining often involves if only and what if thoughts. Remember that there are things beyond your control, and that's okay. Recognizing your limits can be liberating and help you move past the bargaining stage. Talking to others who have experienced similar losses can also provide perspective and comfort. They can remind you that your thoughts are a natural part of the grieving process. By the way, if you find this video helpful so far, be sure to hit that like button. It motivates us to create more helpful videos for you. Coping with depression. When the weight of grief feels too heavy, it's crucial to allow yourself to feel that sadness. It's okay to cry, to feel down, and to not be okay. This is a natural part of the healing process. Maintaining a routine can provide a sense of normalcy. Even small things like getting out of bed at the same time each day, eating regular meals, and going for a daily walk can make a big difference. Stay connected with friends and family, even if it's just for a short chat. You don't have to talk about your grief if you don't want to. Sometimes just the presence of others can provide comfort. If the depression feels too much to handle, talking to a therapist can offer additional support and strategies. Achieving acceptance. Acceptance means finding a way to live with your loss. Create new routines and habits that bring you joy and a sense of purpose. This could be taking up a new hobby or dedicating time to something you're passionate about. Honor your loss by setting aside time to remember. Set small, achievable goals to help rebuild your life and celebrate each step forward. Be kind to yourself and understand that acceptance takes time and is a gradual process. By the way, we've got something to brighten your mood. Did you know certain foods can act as natural antidepressants when you're feeling down? Don't worry, we've already created a video for you.